imps going around. And that...
Our heroes have chosen fine vessels for their return. Mere human.
Just gonna give you like a quick glance. That is a Hall of Darkness, I think. Yeah, of course they are following us. They have like, I guess they each have like a personality and a name. But I'm not gonna bother like going to them again. But I did already activated whatever skill trees I want.
Aye, aye, Captain.
As long as the freaking, what's the word?
A bit drafty in here, isn't it?
Fly straight
Are we
to
near
the void?
that event?
I think I could
she
fly
gets, like, a
straight to the
very
void.
excellent
All the way up.
This guy, I'm still not sure about him. Because that's... I think that weapon is slightly better.
I wonder how much of a spark it takes to zap a human to vapor.
Degra, stuff like that. Yeah, although I gave him a little bit like more air abilities, but also
Now
it's
behave
stronger.
yourselves, you lot. This is a nice sort of place, and we don't want to muck it up.
A little
Aye,
bit,
aye, Captain.
a little bit of everything. Him, I'm definitely making him like a more of a
Say, have you seen my magic
Ranged
box?
focus.
It's got all kinds of wonders stashed inside.
yeah.
You know,
Essentially, Hall of Darkness, you meet this guy, and he is essentially a respect guy. You can just change your attributes or even reputation.
A pleasure to see you again. Eager for another try at a better you.
He has a pretty slick voice. But yeah, I don't see any need for respecting, so thank you very much. And yeah, we are at level 14, and I really should consider selling some of that stuff. Because I'm like not sure if I want to use her as a ranged character. Although, I could use another ranged guy, but I'm just not sure. Okay, now I'm not gonna be skipping for anything, so yeah, I'm gonna be dealing now with the normal stuff. Just a quick glance through our equipment. I'm running with this added crossbow, have some special arrows.
think I could fly straight to the void? I think I could fly straight to the void. All the way up.
Oh, and the empathy year. Every year.
Every year.
I said, I wonder how much of a spark it takes to zap a human to vapor.
That's somewhat different. I might be selling it on our occasion. Larian Studios.
Aye, aye, Captain.
I'm honestly considering getting that too. I think no, she also learned
Say,
glory.
have you seen my magic
in
box?
here, isn't it?
It's got all kinds of
near
wonders
that
stashed
event.
inside.
That is a good question, Zigzags. One without a conclusive answer, though its resolution may lie in conception. Where you chronicle, I both chronicle and create. Where you arrive at conclusions, I spin origins besides.
I wonder how much
There
of a
are
spark...
quite a number of imps here, my most honored guest. Threads I weave and tales I see. All will I tell.
Way up.
She is one whose history is shrouded in darkness. He is the instigator. He is the beginning of all ends, the birth father of death and void. The threads tell me that once, How many eons lie hidden in so small a word? Once, you strode across that hall in shining armor, a sovereign to all who beheld your might. I can clearly read that armies you have led, demons and dragons you have conquered, that you have ascended. But how can this be now that you stand before me a human, a mortal? Can the answer be anything but you? Duty. Never did you waver from your duty, never? I know of him. The tapestry tells me all it can, and I know he knows you. He stood by your side on battlefields large as cities. She is a creature of both tenderness and destruction. Once, at your command, she would drive away the rain clouds and usher in the spring. Her story is the story of 1,000 tales. Once upon a time, her favorite words, she was of incalculable importance during the wars against the Void Guards that threatened the creation of the gods. Wherever they hid, she found them. What plans they thought most secretive, she knew them. Teller of Secrets is her title, for in her world there are none. Moloch, I know of him. He has a kind soul, in as far as kindness has least to dwell within the confines of a demon's body. He is kind in that he is honest. For that which you give, you will receive something in return with no strings attached, no unpleasant threads for me to weave. Not always was he so, no. He was true to his vicious nature. But during the Great War on Chaos, he, supposedly immortal, found himself on his back, with your sword halfway down his throat. You saw the fear in his eyes, the incomprehensibility of death and defeat, and so you took pity on him. He hasn't forgotten your kindness and became somewhat kind in return. A demon redeemed. Ask, and I shall answer, if I can.
Free on a good day, Captain.
Quite so. Your absence, it should be an impossibility, but no matter where I look, you cannot be found. I do not know you, which makes you my one perennial imperfection. But perchance I may be cured of this blindness. Perchance the blemish may be undone, and time can be redeemed. Leandra. She desires to be Mother of the Void, but you have the power to undo her born-in-blood litter. Though they be baptized in blood, you can cleanse the Starstones still, and use them to thwart their grim queen.
How can I help you, my friend?
Doom.
Yes, that was a small fib on my part, I'm afraid. Xandalore is known as the Keeper of the Source, after all. And I didn't know how Source Hunters would react to my association with such a colorful character.
I'd welcome you back to your homestead, but it seems the Imparium on the Imp plane at the end of Imp is far more appropriate. Most certainly. Ah, yes, the Hall of Heroes. I can't think of a better place to gather new heroes, should you come across such rarities, so that when needed, they can serve you in your quest against the Void. So you have the Inner Chamber. They are yours now. The Chosen Two anew. That must be the Hall of Flames, mustn't it? Quite. The Hall of Winds, to be more precise. Tempest and lightning, storm and shadow. No more than that she is privy to secrets even I have a hard time getting to the root of. She'll ask you for a price for such information, this sharer of secrets. But then again, that information is quite priceless, is it not? Aye. one can't quite get around demons these days. His powers are formidable, but don't let him deceive you. For all that he grants, he grabs something in return. Like you, she is a mystery. But she seems to know you, doesn't she? It shall be my pleasure. How very right you are. These thoughts have been bubbling in my mind like so much drink in a still. But I believe they've finally transformed into something quite potable. From what I can gather, the following stands to reason. The generals were put in charge of the God Box, but they must have faltered. The void must have escaped, or how could it loom upon us once more? Perhaps that faltering could explain why their souls were loosed, and why those souls now reside so contentedly within you. Those scallywags! They are diluting Starstone with blood magic? Vile fiends! This sect, it must be stopped. Their adulteration of Starstone could hamper our efforts to undo the void. You have to trace this sect back to the very pit where it burrows. Bloodstone. The horror. Magic as dark as this. It feeds the void where we seek to starve it. Of all the wicked things, the one substance that can stand in the way of the void, and she's turning it into vessels of blight. You'll have to redouble your efforts, my friend. You'll have to find more Starstones before she does, and forestall her insidious distortions. Like the imp said to the ballista operator, shoot! Indeed I can. The tapestry has revealed all. Saucy stuff, I can tell you that. But of course, you're professionals and interested in the dry facts only, not the smutty details. Suffice to say that though Zandalore and Ikara were an item, the wizard gave in to his baser instincts when her sister Leandra came a-wooing. Only what truly interested her was not his body, but his mind and the secrets of the source buried therein. Jake was there too, waiting in the shadows to ascertain that between the two of them, they'd be able to subdue the wizard should he become unruly. No more. You see, he is instrumental to her plans. But when Zandalore became suspicious, she didn't hesitate to play the part of Black Widow, ready to kill after copulation, ready to break her sister's heart twice over. Ah, Leandra, Imp Slayer, Blood Craver, Void Seeker. All-round lovely lass, ain't she? Quite a card, isn't she? I never know whether that one's going to offer a striking commentary on my efforts to record the Great Dwarven Wars, or a potion meant to turn my tongue blue for a week. She and I have run in the same sort of magical circles for, well, not as long as I can remember, but close to it. Once in a century or so, I'll pop in while she's experimenting with a particularly interesting charm, and we'll share a mug of glow wine and a discussion about this and that. Quite glad you brought her here, I am. When Ikara's here, there's nothing to fear. That's what she always tells me, anyhow.
Why, I see Master Zigzax has upgraded from his shabby little hut at the edge of the hour, from the fairy dimension to the, space-time weaver hunter imp one. What do you call this place again? Ha! Is that so? It seems I have my share to learn about the magical world yet. The end of time. Well, suddenly your association with Master Zigzax makes sense. Well, I must say, it's no small relief to find myself in a safe haven among such allies. I believe the answer to that begins centuries ago, when your order was still cutting down so-called dark magicians by the dozens. Ours was a family of born sorcerers, you see. It was in our blood to interact with Source. But our parents were determined to curb the power within us. Still, their meekness wouldn't save them from the Source Hunters. I am, but there is more to our kind than they teach at your academy. Source isn't only blood and madness. It's like lightning, an exquisite current of great power. We sorcerers are like metal steeples. Source is drawn to us and it flows through us. But what so many fail to understand is that Source can be controlled. The power-drunk through history have abused it, and all the world's sorcerers have borne terrible consequences. Tell me, Source Hunter, in all your hours studying the arcane arts, did your great masters ever suggest that perhaps not all sorcerers were evil? Did you ever hear, even once, that some of us were weak and gentle? That we could be simple forest folk healing the sick and frozen each winter? No. I doubt also that they'd mention that one day this hunt of yours would birth a broken soul powerful enough to inch all of Rivellon toward oblivion. No, that would be going too far and eschewing my own responsibility. I believe Leandra's long fall down did begin at the hands of some of your own order, but it was I who sparked all of this. They came on a quiet morning. My mother was wild with fright and commanded me to hide myself and Leandra outside, among the trees. Even at that young age, we knew not to question her. We climbed high into the branches of a nearby tree, and before we could look away, our parents were cut down without ceremony before our door. The Source Hunters sauntered away, wiping their blades with pride. 2 more sorcerers dead, a job well done. From that moment on, everything was different. As we trembled in that tree, our fear and our desperation were so potent that the magic within us began to weave together. Our souls became forged together, our bond unbreakable. We would survive, thrive even within those woods, never speaking to outsiders. Our soul forge meant that if one of us were to die, the other would instantly perish too. We kept one another close. Leandra's capacity was enormous. Source didn't frighten her, and she delved into that dark well with terrible regularity. I did my best to guide her, but she fast outgrew my admonitions. My sister and I were mired in a solitary existence, witches among the trees when Zandalor came. Leandra especially couldn't leave him be. He was a feast of information, and she wouldn't rest until she'd absorbed every bit of knowledge he offered. Their days were spent on charms, hexes, and the like. At night, Leandra would wander off to practice what she'd learned, and Zandalor and I would settle into our quiet tasks, side by side. We were a content trio, the 3 of us, but base impulse would undo us. As you know, Leandra and I were soul-forged. This offered us a window into one another's souls. I knew Leandra had developed feelings for Zandalor, and she knew I had too. But it was me to whom he confessed his love. Those quiet evenings together had captured his heart, as they had mine. Her heart broke the moment we announced our new attachment, and I felt the pain of it as sharply as a knife. She fled, without a word, and I didn't see her for 2 terrible years. My connection to her, our soul forge, grew weaker. It was as though some third entity, a parasite, were atop our souls, sucking the strength from it day by day. We've a single order of business first and foremost. Leandra is gathering an army, and I fear we'll have to get through it if we wish to find her. But first, we must learn more about Leandra's plans. How many of these so-called Immaculates does she have in her palm, and to what end is she directing them? Your journey must begin in the Lacula mines, where she has been accumulating materials and manpower for a purpose as yet unknown. The way will be dangerous. Her allies are growing more powerful and numerous by the minute. but we must discover exactly what Leandra is planning and why. A soul forge comes with its own benefits, Source Hunter. Though our connection has weakened, I still see the occasional vision of Leandra's doings, the pangs of her deepest felt emotions, and flashes of her triumphs. One vision. I had thought it was only a nightmare, but now I see it was something much worse. Leandra is collecting materials, precisely what, I cannot say, and is hard at work shaping them into something sinister. Her frustrations are rivaled only by her mirth. I can see she's growing closer and closer to achieving something dire. You must make your way deep into the mines to see exactly what she's planning. I believe that our soul forge has been damaged. By what? I can only guess. The fraying of the bond between us has left Leandra adrift in a well of sorrow she truly believes will never end. What she needs is a hand. My hand, out of this abyss. If our soul forge is repaired, I am certain she'll cease blazing this path of destruction. I cannot condone the terrible things she's done, but I can seek to understand them. With our soul forge in such tatters, I believe Leandra is adrift in the not at all inconsiderable sorrows of our lives. What's more, I sense a terrible force bearing down upon the bond between us. It is hungry, and it consumes ever more of Leandra's mind and soul. I cannot say exactly what this force might be, but I'm certain it's both driving me out and driving Leandra on. If I could only repair the forge, I'm certain she'd put a stop to this madness. The way may be treacherous, but you must get inside. I fear my sister is doing something dreadful so far from the light of day.
Tell me, my friend, have you heard any recent prophecies regarding the... what was it again? Oh yes, the so-called damned one?
Not lately, Master Imp. Indeed, I very much fear that until the void is caged once more, there will be no future to promise.
Onwards to Lucula Mines, I guess. Although
May the goddess
sell
guide you
some
through the
stuff.
forest and keep you safe.
My champion, my healer and protector. How delightful it is to see you again. Oh, I'm doing dandy. Thank you for asking. My wound is quite healed. A bit tender still, but coming along nicely. The powers that be have been going quite easy on me since we've been here. In fact, I'm expecting a promotion from Beast of Burden to House Guardian any day now. Better house, better food, and less cargo carrying shall soon be my lot. Our little adventure hasn't changed them all that much, I think. We're still kindly enough, without being truly affectionate to me, but I'm not one for cuddling anyway. They bicker too, just like they always used to, but with a playful glint in their eyes I never really saw before. And the strange noises they sometimes make in the night, they do happen rather more frequently. Perhaps they got a chill in the woods, poor souls.
My, I see you appear and everything brightens. Such is the joy you have brought us. Please be ever welcome in our new establishment. I'm swell and settled here in Silver Glen. I have a roof over my head instead of menacing forest canopies looming above. I have a cosy bed to sleep in instead of moss and leaves to lie on. I have a husband to cuddle come the night instead of having to stand and watch for bloodthirsty beasts that hunt by the moon. As you can tell, dear friend, I am well indeed. Oh, he's doing peachy, as am I. We do still feel great sadness for what happened to our friends in Hunter's Edge, but the selfish side that houses in every soul is mighty glad we made it out together. A new smithy, a new life. The gods are kind to us.
Welcome, your knightship. Oh, be welcome indeed. As you can see, we have set up shop here in Silverglen. And as a matter of course, you'll get my wares at prices that no one else has a right to claim from me. I've a song in my heart and a spring in my step, my liege. I've had orcs on my tail and bandits to boot, and yet I live. How can I be anything but happy? Oh, the smithy's doing grandly, your knightship. Thanks to your valiant rescue of Alfie, I haven't had to abandon my most valuable gear. Which means my products are up to the high standards you may expect from Bjorn Stoutborn. For such is my name, and such is my reputation. She's alive and kicking, my liege, just like she always was. Oh, certainly she can be a handful, but I wouldn't really have it any other way. We survived thanks to you, and each hour we are together I count as a blessing.
Get to the mine, and I guess we have to go to the mine to like troll cave. Although maybe I'm not sure.
on!